Two different times in this week's Torah portion, God tells Avraham, that he's going to have many, many descendants. The first time he tells him they're going to be so numerous, they're going to be like the dust of the earth. The second time he tells him that they're going to be like the stars in the sky. And then in next week's Torah portion, he again says they'll be like the stars of the sky, but also says they'll be like the sand on the seashore. Now we know, God's not writing a book. He's not going to metaphors or similes.com and saying, I used dust the last time. Give me a new one this time. God's writing the Torah, which is meant to teach us lessons. So what are the lessons? Some say that God's teaching Abraham and hinting to him that if his children will obey the will of God, they'll be like the stars in heaven, under the dominion of no one else. But if we stray, we'll be trampled like dust under the boots of our enemies. Others say that the lesson is one that parrots an earlier lesson from the creation story. In chapter 1 of Genesis, God has said that he's going to make man in his image. But in chapter 2, he says that he made man from the dust of the earth, teaching us we're made in God's image. We can accomplish practically anything, but we shouldn't get too big for our britches because we're made from dust. And so here too, each of us is being told, aim for the stars, but don't get too full of yourself. Hot shot. Now when it comes to dust, God just tells Abraham about that. But when it comes to the stars, he does more. He takes Abraham outside and he tells him to look up into the sky and to gaze at the stars. He wants to show him how bright they shine, that his descendants are going to shine brightly, some more brightly than others, but each of them able to be a star on his or her own. And there's more. If you look out at the sky on a clear night, you can't help but be overwhelmed and awed by the limitless nature of God's power. God's telling Abraham, look beyond the stars. Abraham had the power to look into the constellations, and through astrology, he was able to predict the future. And he saw in the stars that he, Avram, as he was then named, and Sarai, his wife, were not going to have children. So God's telling him nothing is beyond my power. Avram and Sarai won't have children, but Abraham, your new name, and Sarah, your wife's new name, they will look beyond the stars. And why the sand in next week's Torah portion? Some say that it's reassuring Abraham that even though over years and years of persecution we'll have waves and waves of enemies, those waves will crash upon our shore and we will survive. And also, the same way that sand on a seashore serves as a barrier against the power of the ocean, we as Jews are meant to serve as a moral bulwark against the oceans of temptation in the world. Many comparisons, many beautiful lessons.